My 30F, husband 35M, has been acting increasingly cruel since his dad died, and last night something happened that I can't get past. Am I insane? I never thought my husband, the man I married 3 years ago, would become someone I'm genuinely afraid to be around. My husband and I have been married for 3 years, but this entire year has felt like a nightmare. At the beginning of the year, his father passed away. We spent about a month and a half living with his mother to help her handle the estate and support her through her grief. Everything seemed fine until we finally moved back home. That was when my husband started acting completely different. At first, it began as these aggressive, cruel so-called jokes. For example, I love watching the birds in our backyard, and I occasionally whistle at them to draw them closer. One day, he told me to stop whistling because, in his words, they were going to want to have relations with me. Another time, I was organizing our pantry, and he saw some cucumbers I had purchased. He asked me if I bought them to use them for my own pleasure. If we were out in public and another woman complimented my hair or my outfit, he would spend the rest of the day referring to her as my girlfriend and making lewd comments about how so many women supposedly wanted me. There have been so many comments like this. I've suggested therapy repeatedly because it feels as though he is taking all of his bottled up anger out on me. He refuses, claiming he doesn't need professional help because he knows he needs to change and can manage it himself. What makes this so difficult to process is the contrast in how he treats his mother. He is constantly there for her. He listens, he comforts her, and he lets her talk about everything she is feeling. But then he will hang up the phone and turn cold and mean toward me almost immediately. I don't understand why he is so angry at me. Last night, things took a turn for the worse. He initiated sex. I didn't want to say no because I know how upset he gets when I reject him. He often tells me he feels unwanted, which makes me feel guilty, so we continued. But this time felt completely different from every other time we have been intimate. He has always been affectionate and careful with me, but last night, there was none of that. When I looked at him, all I could see in his face was anger, almost hatred. His movements were so rough that he was hurting me, and I was genuinely scared to even tell him. Eventually, I pushed him off and said, "I'm hurt." I chose those words carefully because I was terrified of sounding like I was blaming him. I started crying, and while I was lying there sobbing, he grabbed my hand and forced it onto himself because he wanted me to help him finish. I cannot explain the level of disgust and anger I felt in that moment. I was crying in front of him, and that was all he could think about? I immediately pulled my hand away, and he just laughed and said, "You escaped." I kept crying as he went to take a shower and then went to sleep. He didn't comfort me. He didn't ask if I was okay. Nothing. I have never felt so disgusted or objectified by anyone, let alone my own husband. His comments had already been making me uncomfortable, but after last night, I feel like something in me just broke. The thought of him touching me again makes my skin crawl. I don't know if there's any coming back from this. I'm sharing this because I need perspective. Does grief actually explain this kind of personality change? I don't really know what I'm looking for, just maybe some advice on what others would do in my position. Edit. I want to thank everyone who has messaged me and left comments. Please know I am safe. I will update calmly when I can, but don't be worried for me. I am not with him anymore.